Drivers in Cape Town and Johannesburg say they're stopping driving today. They're up in arms over low profit margins due to increasingly high petrol prices and VAT. Unlike normal taxis who raise their prices whenever petrol goes up, for Uber it's a difficult or a different story altogether. The taxi hailing system is centrally controlled from San Franscico in the United States. Prices and trips are determined via the app depending on demand and distance. Now joining us in the studio to talk more about the Uber drivers go slow is Teresa Munchick, co-founder of the movement. Teresa, thank you so much for coming through. I said just your name, did I say it right?
No, correctly, thanks.
Okay. Now, Uber drivers operating, are they operating today or are they on a strike or a go slow? What's happening?
We've called for tools down, so effectively we've asked all Taxify and Uber drivers to be offline. However, there are around 15,000 drivers on the platform, so it's very difficult to mobilize. So it's, impossible to reach all the drivers.
What are your demands?
Well, we would like an increase in the fares. It's ridiculous. Uber has not raised the fares since 2013 when they came into the country. So if you can imagine how, not only fuel has gone up, but the cost of cars, insurance. So Taxify did announce last night that they will be implementing an increase today. So we'd like to call on Uber to do the same.
When you are negotiating with a company that's headquartered in San Franscico, how do you structure the negotiation?
Well, unfortunately, they don't recognize any group, body, association or union. So they call us independent contractors and they say that we've got a voice and a choice. So a voice means we can approach them individually, and a choice is if we don't like it, leave. So there is absolutely no negotiation. We call partners, but we have absolutely no say at all.
But are they at least open to recognizing the issues under discussion and how there is pressure in terms of your profitability?
They are not prepared to discuss it. They know that it's an issue. However, it seems like that they are not prepared to concede to any increase.
What alternatives do you have as the movement?
Unfortunately, at the moment we're just calling for public awareness and media attention and hoping that that will put some pressure. As well, with Taxify increasing the fare, we think, it would be a good time for Uber to do the same.
Besides the pricing, what other issues are there?
There's a huge issue with flooding the market. Both companies just have thousands and thousands and thousands of cars. So, very often drivers are waiting for hours online before getting a trip. And so, it's not just the profitability per trip. But
so one would imagine that entry is also difficult.
Well, Uber has kind of put something in place that makes it slightly more difficult to join. However, Taxify, the market is absolutely open.
What are you referring to?
In terms of cars being allowed onto the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Taxify, you could go and put a car on today.
How is government coming to the party? Are they helping you out in any way?
Unfortunately, government has never recognized us operators, but we had a breakthrough last week. Several of the leaders and activists of different movements and organizations, associations, we got together and we finally got to sit at legislature and say, we're the ones with the operating permits, we're the operators, so we need to be recognized. Uber is an app, Taxify is an app. They shouldn't be meeting with apps, they should be meeting with people on the ground.
And how far have you gone?
It was our first appearance at legislature. We are hoping to possibly be going to Parliament with some Cape Town drivers later on this year, and we are hoping that our negotiation last week opens the doors to more.
So the ones who have decided to not drive today, how will they be impacted, and how far is this activity or how long is it going to be drawn out for?
Okay. In Johannesburg, we've called, for the full day today. unfortunately, a lot of drivers, just as I say, there's thousands of drivers, so a lot of drivers aren't aware of it. So we'd actually like to also appeal to the public to make make drivers aware of what's going on, because a lot of them are just sitting without a voice. And so, you know, we are trying to get as many drivers on board as we can today to make an impact.
Let's just backtrack the interview a bit about the movement. How did it come about? What created the need to have such a platform, and what do you hope to see it become as you go along?
We initially formed, a driver was killed, and we started collecting money to donate to the family, because obviously in being independent contractors, you know, we don't have any benefits in place. So when we were collecting money for the family, we raised 14,000 Rand, but then a group of us decided there were a lot of issues to be addressed, and we've decided to form a committee so that we'd be able to meet with Uber on a regular basis at a management level. However, they've absolutely refused to recognize us. We've, you know, done marches, we've delivered memorandums, and, you know, unfortunately, they're just not prepared to give us a voice.
Because of that lack of recognition, it essentially means you're speaking to a black hole. How can consumers help the operators in this regard?
Well, you know, I think just to make people aware of it, and I think people with a social conscience, you know, 20 Rand trip means that if someone is a driver, they're clearing 5 Rand, and if someone is an owner of a vehicle, it's 15 Rand. So if you can imagine, start like having a 300,000 Rand car and getting paid like 15 Rand for a trip. So, you know, I think awareness and, you know, possibly with some public and media attention, and with Taxify's rate increase, Uber will be more open. I'd also like to say that Uber introduced a tipping on the app. However, it
that could help, yeah.
Yes, however, it's 2 Rand, 5 Rand or 10 Rand. Now, to all of us, to all of us, it's an insult. But I mean, 2 Rand, I mean, I tip someone on the give a car guard 2 Rand.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're going to introduce tipping, I do believe that it should be, you know, something that will in fact make a difference.
Yeah, they call it a 21st century problem.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for coming through to talk to us. You're watching The Agenda, and let's take a break now. When we return, Blade has a conversation.